Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this TradeStation Getting Started. Today, we're going to talk about the TradeStation platform and highlight some of its functionality. So it's a great opportunity for you to ask questions and use the chat window to send me any comments or things that you'd like to see demonstrated on the platform. Before we get started, let's go through some introductions and disclosures. The Getting Started series, by the way, is something we do every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So you can always join us for Q&A if you'd like. We alternate the TradeStation platforms. There's a few of them. Today, we're going to highlight the desktop, which is our flagship product, but we also have a web trading platform. We have a mobile platform. We have one that is options dedicated, and we have one that you can trade futures options on. So we do talk about all these platforms and getting started, and also use the opportunity to get you to get to know you and see what your how we can address your questions as well. Keep in mind that every symbol and idea that we talk about is for educational purposes only, that these are not recommendations of TradeStation. Also, that active trading is not suitable for everyone, and past historical performance is no guarantee of future results. If anybody needs more information on these disclosures, go to www.tradestation.com/important-information. All right. I think we're ready to get started. I'm going to switch over to my TradeStation platform. I see the chat window here, and I see a question. Does the platform have a replay feature? All right. This is a question from Christopher. I would imagine that you are talking about the possibility of replaying data, right, on a chart, most likely, for you to just hit play and see how the market behaves like a historical chart, but have it play in replay in real time. Okay, yeah, we don't have that feature, unfortunately. It's been something that clients request a lot, but unfortunately, I don't think that it's in the plans of being implemented on TradeStation. If it's something that you really think would benefit your trading analysis and your market analysis, one thing that you can do, and this is something for everyone here in class, is on the TradeStation desktop, you can go to apps and you have a feedback button. This feedback button goes right to the product managers, and they're the people who design TradeStation's trading platforms, and the ones that make the decisions as to what gets implemented and what not, and what's most important. So your feedback is appreciated in terms of new functionality, because the more people request a certain feature, the more importance and priority it gets in the list of functionality. But I would recommend that. Yeah, it's something we don't provide. We have a massive historical database that you can tap into, but I know exactly what you mean. It's just the ability for you to hit play and have the chart, tick by tick, do exactly how it did in history, but play it, in real time. But unfortunately, no. So let's go ahead and talk about it. By the way, questions like this are great, so I appreciate the interaction. If anybody has any questions, or if you'd like me to highlight certain features of the desktop, this would be a great time to do that. David is asking how to set up trailing stops. Well, we can talk about that, David. In fact, today we're going to probably start with trading, and then we'll go over to charting and scanning. I mean, we usually divide this class in three main sections: charting, scanning, and trading. And I usually leave trading for last, but today let's switch things around and talk about trading first and some of the functionality that you can find in trading. Okay, so this is the desktop. This is, of course, an introductory class. So I'm going to assume that you guys are new to TradeStation, or probably have used TradeStation for a short period of time. So we go through the functionality here as somebody that has never seen the platform. And when you install TradeStation, this is what you see: TradeStation today. It has cool information that you can access. On the left-hand side, we have a collection of videos. We call it the Quick Start videos. It's a collection of 18 short-form videos that walk you through the features of the platform. So if you haven't check those out, please do. Once you watch all the 18 videos, it'll take you some time to do that, but once you watch all the 18 videos, you'll have a good sense of what the platform is capable of doing. Over here on the right hand side, we have events. These events that you see here inside of TradeStation today are also posted on the TradeStation website. So if you don't find them here, go to the events page on TradeStation.com. We usually refer to it as ts.com, but go to TradeStation.com. The events page has the complete list. We're only limited to showing 6 events here. So you want to see the full list, go to events at TradeStation.com. In the middle, we have newsfeed. This comes directly from Benzinga. They are our news provider. We have recommended workspaces right here at the bottom left. And they're not recommended in a way that, these are great workspaces that you should look at. They're recommended for you to get an idea on how TradeStation applications are set up. You can use them also as a template that you can modify and make your own. But they're there just to see, so that you can see how TradeStation can be set up. So this is TS Today. If you don't have it on your TradeStation, you can access it by going to Apps and then clicking on TS Today right here at the top. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to open up a new workspace here. All right. And if I may ask, David, where do you usually place your trades? I'm not sure how long you've been using TradeStation, but there are multiple places or multiple applications that allow you to place trades. There is a very visible trade bar right here at the top, but we also have the ability for you to, or we provide you the ability to trade from a chart or trade on the matrix. So I can show you how to set up trailing stops on any of these trading tools. I usually, use just the matrix, which is a very easy application to use that provides you a lot of information when you're about to place a trade, and we can set that up there if you'd like. Let's go here to Apps and click on Matrix. And I see your question, Marshall, as well. How to set up a covered call that, if executed, my account automatically buys the stock back. So it's a covered call. But what part is executed? Because if you have a covered call, that means that you have shares, right, of the underlying, and then you sell a call, correct? So I wasn't sure which part gets executed when you're trying to get out of the trade. Give me a little bit more details, Marshall, okay? All right, so this is the Matrix. Matrix is an application that provides you access to level 2, or what we call market depth. So not only you see all the prices that are being traded, you also see all the orders that are sitting in the ECN books on the buy side and on the sell side. So you see how many shares are being bid for, and you see how many shares are being asked for. Buyers and sellers. Buyers are going to be right here on the bid column or the blue column, and sellers are going to be on the red. Right now, I have Meta right here in this matrix. You see the price range is pretty high. Meta is trading at $672 as we speak. So sometimes I tend to go to lower priced stocks on the matrix because they're easier to manage. If you're trading a security that has a high price like this, I would either, and that's something that I'm going to show you, I would either use my axis increment. Axis increment is one of the columns up here. And I know there's a lot of columns that I usually don't use, but by regulation, we were asked to provide this information, like the trade size, the trade exchange, the bid size. So I can right click up here, maybe not right click, sorry. You do right click in Option Station Pro. I'm going to go to Settings, Columns, and I'm going to go here to Quote Bar, because there are things that I'm going to remove from here, like the ask size. I'm going to remove it. The ask also, the bid size, the bid, the trade exchange, and the trade size. So it simplifies my view. And when I click OK, I'm able to see this last column, which is the axis increment. Of course, you can position it, move it, to a different place. But this axis increment allows you to squeeze the range of prices a little bit, so that instead of the increment being a penny, which is pretty insignificant for a stock that is priced at $673, we can say, I want my increment to be a nickel, 5 cents. Now you see a little bit more of the prices. And you can even higher, let's do maybe 10 cents. And you can see how the prices here are going to increase by 10 cents increment. So you can play with that axis increment for you to get a bigger view of where the prices of Meta are going. You can also, bring up the chart trading toolbar, because we do also allow you to trade from a chart. And on a chart, let me just put it here on the right-hand side. On a chart, you see a bigger range of prices. Right now, I see Meta See the price scale here goes up to 690 and it drops to 650. So you see more of the price range. And if I click on this little button on the top, chart trading, it provides me a trade bar on the right-hand side, very similar to the one that I have on the matrix. So I can trade them both. In fact, sometimes I have them both up so that I can place the trade quickly here on the matrix, but at the same time, I have visibility of those orders on the chart. Let me see some of the details that Marshall is giving me here in the chat windows. I want to keep owning the stock, but make money on selling calls. And if they are executed, I automatically buy the stock back. Okay, interesting. Okay, so so you get executed. You get so the option gets exercised. So you're forced to sell the shares of the security because somebody else has the option to buy your shares. But you want, when that happens, when the execution happens, you want it to automatically buy the shares back, which is tricky because I don't think we can set it up that way, because if it's an exercise of an option, it kind of happens in the background. So this person on his terminal is deciding that he wants to exercise his option. So he buys your shares, and there's nothing on TradeStation that says I'm going to automatically enter the trade again. I would think that you have to manually monitor that. So if you get executed or exercised and your shares are sold, you'd have to be attentive to that and enter the trade automatically. Yeah, I don't see. I'm thinking about different ways in which we can set this up, and I can't figure out if there is a way for you to do that automatically. Unfortunately, I may have to think about this a little bit more. But from the top of my head, there's no feature that allows you to do that. It's got to be manually monitored, notified whenever the calls are executed. If they are exercised, the thing is that it's not really even though there's a transaction occurring, it's not really a trade or an order that you're putting on your TradeStation. I mean, we get alerts whenever an order gets executed. But the thing is that when there's an exercise, it happens in the background, and the trade desk is pretty much, doing the whole transaction without your platform being involved. The platform, the one that I'm looking at right now, is the one that triggers the trade and the one that generates the alert. But if the platform is not doing the closing of the selling of your shares, it's happening in the background because it's an exercise, then there's no alert. I'm still trying to think of different ways that we can set this up, but I'd have to double check about the notification if there's an exercise and your underlying is sold. I'd have to check, because I know that on the mobile side, on the mobile app, they've done some enhancements so that you would get push notifications. Even though the platform may be closed, you're still getting notifications that something's happening to your account. But I would have to double check with that. Let's go ahead and put in a trade here. By the way, let me go ahead and link my chart to my matrix. So if I do decide to change the symbol, they both change to that symbol automatically. I'm going to click on the S for my matrix and the S for my chart. And I'm just going to change the symbol to Bank of America, symbol BAC. For Bank of America, an increment of 10 cents would be too much because the stock is priced at $44. So I'm going to drop the axis increment back to, I'm going to drop the axis increment back down to a penny. So the axis increment, it's really nice if you have a high priced security inside the matrix. But then if you have something that's low priced like Bank of America, then it makes no sense to have the prices be spaced apart so much. Okay. All right. So we have the prices right here in the middle. We talked about the blue and the red. The blue are where the buyers are. And it's interesting that we see these numbers inside the blue because these are orders sitting on the ECNs and market maker books that allows us to see how many shares are being bid for at that price. And sometimes we see clusters of buy orders or sell orders that represent a big collection of orders to be sold or bought at that particular price. A lot of those clusters are usually used as support or resistance levels, because the amount of orders that are sitting there is going to have an effect on where the prices are headed. If you have a lot of selling transactions happening, that is either going to stall an uptrend or even drop the prices down. The same happens when there's a lot of buy orders. It's either going to stop a downtrend or make the prices go up whenever there's a lot of transactions getting filled. So these amounts that you see inside the blue and the red is visibility into what the market is thinking and what they're doing. Yeah, it's true that you can manage visibility of your order and you can hide your order from the market. But for the most part, you get a glimpse as to what is it that the market is doing. Where is the most pressure? Is the most pressure on the buying side or the selling side? So those are things that are interesting to know. So placing trades here on the matrix is very easy. You can hover over the blue to buy or hover over the red to sell. Very straightforward. And I just have to hover over the price that I want and click. For example, I know that Bank of America is trading at 44.38. If I want to enter at 44.25, I just hover over here at 44.25. The quantity, I can see it is 100, but I can change it right here on the trade bar if I wanted to. Let's say that I want to change it to 1,000, come back here to 44.25 and click. If I click here, it sends an order automatically. And if I move away from that cell, you can see the blue box right there waiting to get filled at 44.25. The nice thing about that order is that it's visible, not only here in the matrix, but it's also visible here on the chart. Let me open up the chart a little bit so you can see more of it. Everybody see that blue line right there? Even though I placed the order here in the matrix, I have visibility of it right here on the chart, and I can see it in context with historical data. So even though the matrix provides a lot of information about levels and where people are buying and selling, it's not until I go to a chart where I see where the trade or where the prices have been historically. I know that right now we are sort of Bank of America kind of bounced back yesterday, and it's some sort of an uptrend from this low of 43.40 is up to 44.40 with a dollar change. But we can see that yesterday we had that big drop from the opening of the market from 44.80 all the way to 43.40. So we see a lot of back and forth right here for Bank of America. It doesn't have a lot of clear direction, but this type of movement and the type of analysis that I'm talking about, not visible in the matrix. So even though the matrix has its good things, having the two windows open, matrix and chart, gives you a lot of visibility of whether what those levels are, support and resistance, and also what the market has been historically. Okay, let's go ahead and get filled. I know it's trading at 44.37. I can leave it down here at 44.25 to see if I get filled. If I want to get filled now, I know that the best selling price is 44.36. We see the offer right there. They're offering those shares for sale, and the number is updating in real time. So if I drag my order and drag and drop it here where the sellers are, the sellers are going to eat up. They're going to eat up my trade. It's only 1,000 shares, and there's plenty of liquidity, and it gets filled right away. I get this clear indication of where I got filled. I got filled at 44.36, and I see P&L right here on the left-hand side. Now, a couple of ways that you can set up a stop and a profit target. The P&L here on the left-hand side, you can click on any amount and it will automatically set a stop or a target at those levels. So if I want to exit my position, if it makes $200, so the price goes up here to 44.56, I just need to click on the $200 and it automatically sends a selling transaction at that price. And that's what the red box means. We can see the red line up here also on the chart. Let me go ahead and open this up a little bit so you can see it. So yeah, that's my selling transaction for a $200 potential profit. The order transactions for 1,000 shares. Now I can do the opposite side as well. So if I click on the negative 100 on my matrix, you can see that it cancels my profit target because I cannot have two selling transactions for the same security at the same time independently. They have to be connected in an OCO for them to work. So if you do need to have an OCO, order cancels order, meaning that you have a profit target and a stop loss working for your position at the same time, you have to send them together. The way you do that, let me go ahead and cancel this order. By the way, orders can be easily canceled by just clicking on the active box. So I'm going to click here and you can see how the order just goes away. If I wanted to have that profit target and the stop loss, I need to use an OCO. In the drop down here, I have multiple templates. The bracket that I'm looking for is this one with one limit and one stop. And I'm going to click on the ellipsis here on the right-hand side to see the distance that these orders are at. Give me just a moment. Let me see if this works. All right, so these are the settings for the OCO, and we work in terms of a price offset. what is the price offset for the target and what is the price offset for the stop. I'm going to set the stop, I'm going to set it at 20 cents, and the target, I want to set it at 30 cents. Okay. Oh, I said 20 and 30 cents, not 20 and $30. This is entered incorrectly. So 0.2 and 0.3. There we go. That's 30 cents and 20 cents. Considering, that we're trading Bank of America, how likely is it to go up $30? Very unlikely. So make sure that the price offset is in minimum price increments, these trades in pennies increments. So let's go ahead and set it up. I'm going to click OK and then place the OCO. This will automatically place those exit transactions. Notice what happens. In the matrix, I don't see the selling boxes, but I do see them here on the chart. That's another benefit of having a chart on the side, because if your offset is big, in this case it's not really big, but it's 30 cents and 20 cents, a lot of times those orders are going to be off the screen. Now the current price is 44.21, so the target is going to be at 44.71, which is not visible here. The stop is going to be at 44.21. I mean, I can scroll down. Yes, if I scroll down on this matrix, I can see my stop right there. And if I scroll up, I can see my target up here at 44.70. So just be aware of those little things, because a lot of times you can place an order and say, well, what did my order go? It's there. You just need to scroll up and down to see those orders on the screen. Marshall's asking, how did I get the matrix and the chart on the same screen? Well, first of all, you have to open them. So apps, so you have matrix, and then you have chart analysis. You have to, open them independently and then resize them. All I did was resizing them so that they're side by side. One thing you can do, if it's only two applications inside of your workspace, you can go to the window menu and arrange all. This will automatically split your screen into two. See, when I did that, notice that it put the chart on the left and the matrix on the right. Now, if I click on the matrix now, and I go back to window arrange all, it does the inverse. So if the arrange all doesn't put the windows exactly in the place you want, I just remember that you can click on the windows, arrange all, and it changes the order for you, okay? Christopher's asking, can you use matrix for options? Most certainly. You won't be able to use it for spreads though, because you can only load one symbol at a time inside of the matrix. So you can load options inside of the matrix and trade them exactly how you would trade a security, except for spreads. If you're wanting to trade spreads, then you have to use either Option Station Pro or the trade bar. James is asking, what did I call the three dots? I call them an ellipsis. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but ellipsis, I think, is the word that references the three dots. So it's a formatting button, okay? All right, next, somebody asked about trailing stop. Let's go ahead and set up a couple of trailing stops. I'm gonna cancel my active orders by clicking on this yellow button, cancel all. So you can see how the profit target and the stop loss go away. And I can set a trailing stop by using these buttons over here, buy trailing stop or sell trailing stop. I know that I have a long position on Bank of America because I bought 1,000 shares. But if I set a trailing stop, first of all, I have to determine whether I want that trailing stop to be a percentage or by points. If I do by points and I say stay, I'm going to do 10 cents away, just 10 cents. And all I need to do is sell trailing stop. That is going to send a selling transaction. Notice where my selling transaction is at 44.33. Why 44.33? Because the current price is 44.43. And we told it to stay 10 cents away. So when I placed the trade, it saw that the current price is 44.43 and it set my trailing stop at 44.33. But as the price goes up, I should see my stop move up with it. So let's go wait here a few seconds and see if Bank of America is able to go beyond 44.43 so that we can see our trailing stop move with it. That's the nature of the trailing stop. It just moves in your favor. As the market moves against you, yes, we have that stop in place to stop you if it needs to. But this is the way, oh, it just moved over to 44.44. Did everyone see how my stop moved to 44.34? Pretty cool, huh? So that's the nature of the trailing stop, and you can set it up inside of the matrix very easily. If you wanted to do this inside of a chart, you can do that as well. We have the exact same sell trailing stop based on a pointage if you want to. If you want to do this in a percentage sense, it requires a little bit more calculation. Let me go ahead and cancel this order, because if I go here and I set it as a percentage, think of the percentage of the price of the security. Let me go here, because if you set it to 1%, 1% of the price, which is $44, is, I believe it's 44 cents, right? Is that what it is? 44.36 times 0.01. Yeah, 44 cents, exactly 44 cents. So if you set it at 1%, your stop will be 44 cents away, which is okay. It's not that far away, but you won't see it here. Let me go ahead and put it here, sell trailing stop. It's submitted, but I don't see it here because it's all the way down here, 44 cents away. And you can see that it trails by 1%. So again, having the chart next to the matrix allows you to see that order being placed. And it gives you a little bit more visibility of what the price is. My trailing stop right here is 43.97. The prices are dropping, and that's the reason why it's not moving. But as the market goes in my favor, we should see that stop move along with it. Okay. All right. Any questions on order entry, trailing stops, and what you can do with them? Okay, perfect. So to find trading opportunities in TradeStation, one of my favorite apps is the radar screen. Radar screen is it's a power horse because it allows you to do tracking real time, tick by tick monitoring of 1,000 symbols. And that's a massive number of symbols to track for you to be able to identify trading opportunities. Now, yes, sometimes I use a combination of scanner with radar screen because I want to find opportunities on the whole market. Yes, we have some pre-selected list of symbols. For example, if you go to data and you go to add a symbol list, you have, index components, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, S&P. By the way, you can fill up your radar screen manually as well, symbol one by one, or use these lists. You can go to S&P 500. These are the S&P 500 stocks. Let me remove the bid, ask, high and low, and you can see how this application is going to give me the 500 symbols that make up the S&P 500. The very first symbol here is $INX, and the label I can remove if I wanted to. So yeah, very quickly I can fill up the S&P 500 components. Now, if it's a stock that is not part of one of these big indexes, if it's not part of the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ or the Dow, it would still maybe present great opportunities to trade. So yes, you can do scanning on these pre-selected list of symbols, or go out there in the market and find stocks that are meeting certain criteria. So let me show you a combination of radar screen with scanner, because that combination is pretty cool. Pretty cool because there are thousands and thousands of symbols that you can trade. And rather than doing scans on a pre-selected list of symbols, you can go out there on the 11,000 symbols that exist right now in the market and find trading opportunities. How do we do that? Let me go ahead and let me go ahead and go to a different workspace. Go to apps, and then I'm going to go to the scanner. I usually don't show scanner here in my getting started classes because it's more of an advanced tool. But I do have some scans already created here, but I'm going to add one from scratch. I'm going to click on add. This will be high volume stocks. Because in my mind, if I want to trade something, I want those securities to be highly traded. I don't want to be stuck in a position because there's no liquidity. So if I want to buy or sell, I want to have the confidence that that order is going to be executed quickly because there's a lot of liquidity in the market. So high volume stocks, let me go ahead and click next. For my symbol universe, notice that you have the ability to select all stocks, and I can even include OTC, over the counter. So these are not listed stocks, but all stocks, and there's going to be a lot. I'm going to click on next here so you can see what I mean. I have a default row here of a filter that's just description. I want to see how many symbols make up the all stocks category, including over the counter. I'm just going to run this, and you can see that high volume stocks run, and it gives me the results. Now I'm going to go here to the log just to see how many symbols are there. And at the very top, it tells you it added all stocks, including OTC, to the symbol universe, and the universe size is 21,636 symbols. Pretty massive, right? And we said that the radar screen is only able to track tick by tick 1,000 symbols. Of course, I don't have the ability to track 21,000 symbols by myself. That's impossible to do. So we need a way of narrowing down that list of symbols to something that is more manageable. And I can use volume to do that because not every symbol trades the same way. And if you're looking for liquid stocks, that's a very good symbol or very good way of you eliminating symbols that don't really provide the characteristics that you want to in a symbol that you want to trade. Okay. Some symbols were filtered out automatically because they are on delayed exchanges. So it's interesting that it's doing that automatically for me. The way that I got the 500 stocks into radar screen, Marshall, is right here when you're on radar screen, you go to data, add symbol list, and you find the S&P 500 in there. So that's a way that we have that pre-selected list of symbols. You can even go to other symbol lists if you want to expand the view. I mean, those are the three main indexes, but other symbol lists will categorize list of symbols based by industry or, take a look because there's a lot of things to explore in there. Go back in here. Let's go to and click on customize. And all I want to do, let me move this over here. Okay. All I want to do is trade or filter by volume. I go inside the cell. I type in VOL. It gives me options that I can select from the dropdown. And I'm going to click on volume average for 10 days. That still they haven't fixed that yet. So you cannot select from the dropdown, which really sucks. I have to open up volume and then I find volume 10, here we go, volume average 10 days. It's a bug. When you start typing and you get a drop down of results, if you try to click on one, it just goes to 0. I'm not sure why, but just go into a specific folder where that value is and then just select it from there. This is the volume average. I want the volume average for the past 10 days to be greater than 1 million. That's 1 million shares a day. Let me run this, and here we go. So from the 21,000 symbols that we started off with, we're down to 1,755 symbols. Maybe a little bit high still. I can continue to narrow it down, and I can say, let me customize this one step further, because I can also specify a price. A lot of times, price will determine, if I want to trade something or not. So let me go here and say price. Let's select the closing price. Has to be between, I'm going to say from 5 to 500. Okay, and let me run this one more time. So that eliminated another 400 symbols. Oh, I was trying to get it under 1,000, but let's go here and customize this one more time. Let's do, instead of going from 5, let's do from 25. And we'll drop the 500 here to 250. Run this. There we go. We have 764 symbols. If you go to the results, they're right here. So this is like a custom list based on volume and price that we can take a look at. So you have to decide what filters are the ones that matter to you and what type of characteristics you're looking in securities. Volume, price may be a couple things that you may want to limit. And this will, or the scanner will allow you to look for a list that does that for you. So let me go ahead and copy this list. I'm going to click on the very first symbol, scroll down, then hold down the shift key and click on the last one. They're all highlighted. I'm going to right click and I'm just going to say copy. I'm going to go back here to my radar screen. Let me remove the symbols from my radar screen. I'm going to click on the very first one, scroll down, hold down the shift and click on the last one to delete. Because what I want to do is I'm going to right click on the symbol, the first row of the symbol and say paste. And this will paste the 700 symbols that my scanner found. So here it goes all the way to 764. Does that make sense? So now over here, you can do all sorts of filtering. For example, if you want to see the percent gainers, you can say, show me the stocks that have a net percent change greater than, I'm going to say 10%. So notice that we have these 8 stocks that have change in price more than 10%. So you're kind of creating your hot lists of things that you may want to pay attention to. Noted the volume today is pretty high as well. And the price is within, the the ranges that you specified. You said 25 and 250. You can say, if you want to take a look at the percent losers, you can say, show me the ones that are less than negative. There's only one stock that has dropped 13% since the close of yesterday. and that is AEP, and cart is just showing up in the screen as well. You see how it's dynamic. So the symbols are going to show up and disappear as they meet the criteria. Notice how cart is right on the threshold of 10%. So when we first created it, it was probably -9%, and it wasn't coming up. But as soon as it crossed over 10, it shows up on my screen. So this is dynamic scanning based on any filters that you add up here. And if you're looking for specific technical signals, things that are happening on these symbols, then you are going to want to add technical analysis. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let's suppose that we want to take a look at the stocks that are, let's do the stocks that are crossing moving averages. So I click on the plus to enter a column. You're going to find that all the technical ideas and indicators that you would usually find in charting are going to be available here on radar screen. I'm going to scroll down here to my moving averages, and I'm going to select something simple, moving average 2 lines. So that column gets added on my radar screen, and I'm going to just open up a chart with the same study. Apps, chart analysis. Let's put it right here on the right-hand side. I'm going to go to studies, add study. Yeah, let's wait for this to load data. I shouldn't, I added a list of 700 symbols to my radar screen. So sometimes, yeah, with Zoom and my video streaming and the data updates, I think my computer is having a difficult time with my internet bandwidth. So it's not loading the data. There we go. We have the data in there. When I go to studies, add studies, and I'm just going to add the same study that I added here on my radar screen, but I'll do it on this single chart. Let's do moving averages, 2 lines. Okay. And we see how the data is moving along. Now let's, this is an intraday chart, which is fine. We can look for intraday signals. I haven't changed, the parameters of those moving averages. We're looking at a 9 period versus an 18 period. So those two are very close to each other. And that's why the lines there's a lot of crossovers between them. But let's go ahead and leave them the way they are. But you can choose any parameter to track symbols. Let me link these two applications together. And what I need to do is I need to turn on the alert here on my moving averages on the radar screen. This will turn on, and this is the good part about radar screen. This will turn on the alert on the moving average for the 764 symbols to determine which ones are crossing right now. Pretty impressive, right? Let me go ahead and go to studies, and I'm going to edit the moving average for all symbols. And in the alerts tab, I'm going to enable the alert, but I don't want to get, pop-up messages or alarms. So I'm disabling message center. This is good for setting up alerts in radar screen. And that's it. Now you can see some red markers. The red markers are real-time alerts. I can scroll down and look at all the symbols that have that, or filter my radar screen. Let's take a look at this one, which is ACGL. I'm going to click it. And you can see that on the current bar, those 2 lines are crossing. Pretty cool. Now, how long would it have taken you to go through the 700 symbols one by one to find this crossover? Radar screen can help you find that in real time pretty quickly. Another one is ADC, and you can see how the 2 lines are crossing right now. Now I can take this one step further and say, well, on my radar screen, show me only the ones that are crossing. So I'm going to select my moving average 2 lines, set the operator to alert, and only show me the true ones. You can see that out of the 764, see how many symbols are here. Only 45 are crossing right now. Powerful tool, because you can choose any technical idea or any calculated value that you can come up with. TradeStation has the flexibility for you to create your own custom studies. And you can create a scan that looks for stocks that have certain characteristics or that are displaying certain behavior and identify those in real time. Okay. Again, you can put up to 1,000 symbols instead of radar screen. And that's why the scanner is very valuable, because you can go out there in the thousands and thousands of symbols that exist and narrow your list down to things that you want to trade. But the ability for you to turn on alerts and look for technical indicator signals, I think it's very valuable. All right. Okay, so those are the 2 things that I wanted to show you. Some little technical analysis, a little bit of scanning, and a little bit of trading. The replay of the getting started, let me show you where those are, because sometimes it's tricky to find them. I'm going to go here to TradeStation.com. just hover over Learn. That's the section where we post most of our videos. And you're going to find a section for Getting Started. You go to the Getting Started menu option, and the top of the page is just going to talk about the Getting Started experience. You have upcoming events will take you to the events page. But if you're looking for a recording, here's where the video archive is. We only keep the most recent ones. And as I said at the beginning of the class, we alternate through the different trading platforms. So you find, the desktop here, you find Option Station Pro, web trading, you find the mobile apps or Futures Plus. So if you're looking for the replay of the desktop, then you can go here. Now, this recording that is currently here is the one that I did a couple weeks ago. The one that we're doing today, it'll go through production and then it'll go to compliance. It'll take us a few days for us to post it here on this page. So if you want to replay this specific class, just come back, next week, and we should probably have this video updated for you, okay? Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Thank you for your support. I hope to see you in a future event. This afternoon, we have a special options presentation. So under Learn and Events, you're going to find that special options webinar. Let me scroll down here. Okay, this is February 24th. Today is the 26th. So we just did this class, which is a TradeStation Desktop. And it's this one here on the right-hand side, which is called Vertical Option Spreads, a guide to credit and debit strategies. Is this pop-up as well? So if you either click on this pop-up or click on the register now on this event, and that's our special presentation this afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.